At school, I wasn't very popular, and I was the kid that was overweight and teased. So I wasn't, I didn't have the new clothes, and I used to dread, morning recess and lunchtime because I had nobody to play with. And when I would go home, I would have a dog, and her name was Sally. So when I went home, I would go out in the backyard, and Sally would always greet me with kindness, and she just comforted me. And I would tell her how jealous I was or how upset I was about the kids at school and how mean they were. So right through my childhood, I had Sally when I was 6 months old, up until I was 11 years old, 11, 12 years old. And during that whole entire time, she was the one that kept me sane, and she was the one that I told all my secrets to, and who I would cry to. My parents used to drink a little bit, and they never, I don't think they saw a lot of what I was going through, but my dog did. So when she died, for me, I think it was the first experience of love and trust, and it broke my heart. The sadness that I felt growing up as a little girl, not having any friends, and having an animal to be your companion and to tell your secrets to laugh with and to cry with as you would with a human being. It's powerful, and it's what got me through those horrible years, because they weren't the best, and I survived them like every other child who might feel lonely will also. And it was only becoming an adult that I became stronger. But I still always carry with me, even obviously now and to this day, until the day I die, the respect and love that an animal can give you and what we should give them. So this is kind of, for me, I guess, Pets Haven. It's really it's funny how life is evolving. I feel like I'm giving back to them, that I'm helping them, and many times when I see that fear, it really does, and it does take me back to being a child, and I can go back to that feeling just like that, and it's awful, it's sad, and it's teary, and your heart goes and like, oh. But then, when you go out and you save an animal, and then that happiness that you feel, nothing beats it. It's beautiful. There's been quite a few times when animals have just collapsed, when they've been starved, and you can see, how skinny they are, and we have to physically carry them into the veterinary clinic, and we take their glucose levels, and we sort of try to work out how long they haven't had any food for, and we place them on drips, and to see, an animal that would be dead within hours or, the following day, and that we place on a drip. It stays in hospital maybe for a couple of days or a week or so, placed into foster care, and then they turn into happy, robust animals. And I believe they know. I'm sure these animals are just amazing. They're beautiful animals. Their soul is lovely.
So these dogs just arrived from Mountain Pound, a mother and baby, and they said that they were strays, but we believe that the owner really did surrender them and didn't want the dogs anymore. You can tell how underweight she is and how hungry they are. She's such a good girl, letting her pup eat. She's starving. There you go. Good girl. Look at that. That's just horrible. Such a good girl. They're both starving, Look how skinny she is. And the concern is, where are her other puppies? If she's, supposedly a stray walking the streets, where are her other babies? Gosh, that's sad. Sit. Oh, hello. Good girl. Sit. Paw. Oh, hello. Good girl. Oh my God, did you see that? Who does that to these animals? Oh, come here, sweetheart. Sit. Sit. Paw. Oh, good girl. Oh, sweetheart. Sits and shakes hands. She's beautiful. She's great with her pup. She didn't, go to attack the puppy when she was eating. So she just generally seems like a really lovely dog. At the pound, she had her tail tucked underneath her legs and she wouldn't walk. And she's only been here for less than 15 minutes, and tail's up, she's wagging, loving. For some reason, she's really focused on Helen, which is lovely. So this poor dog, it's up to us as human beings to look after these animals. They can't go and, open up a can of dog food for themselves or feed themselves. So some human being has done this to this dog. And you can imagine yourself if you didn't have food for a period of, say 10 days, how you would feel. So she's just an excellent dog, but how did she end up in a pound on death row with a puppy? What was her story? And it's a story that happens every day and numerous times per day. It's not the first and it won't be the last dog. It's pretty sad. It's up to us to give her a second chance now.
One day I can wake up and I'd be knowing and I could be saving, 10 dogs, or, we could be driving somewhere, or somebody's delivering an animal to me, or we're euthanizing, or a mother and kittens, or a dog's giving birth, in the back of my car. It's just amazing. Day to day for Pets Haven is, it would be really difficult to explain because so much happens. You can be in tears, you can be so angry, you can be so happy, you can see the saddest thing, you can see the happiest thing, but not just once. It's like a snowball, and like 3 sad things can happen, 4 happy things can happen, or it can be one sad, one happy. It's amazing. And I think for me, balancing the emotion is that I have absolutely amazing people around me. My PH team, those girls, they know me, and they show up at the most amazing times when I'm really down, without words. Pets Haven is not Trish. It's not I'm lucky I've got so many people around me, and they will be the ones that will make it happen, and they'll be the ones to carry it on when I can't. I think in a period of around about 3 years, we've saved 5,000 animals, and that's pretty awesome. We have a shop front. We don't have a big shelter complex. Many people that come into Pets Haven, they're quite surprised. They think that we have this massive complex with acreage and a totally different setup. So to have rescued so many animals, utilising a shop and the resources of the community as in foster care, it's pretty awesome. It's amazing. It is part of my life. I have those times where I crawl up in a ball and I want to walk away. It's just too much, and the tears and the frustration and worries about money, because everything does cost money, and just the emotional stress. But then at the end of the day, it's my oxygen. I couldn't live doing anything else. I think about it, and I've gotten to those real low points. My marriage breakdown, that was really hard. But then I look at the lives that we save, and the happiness that we do bring, even though there is a component of sadness there, it balances out, and I don't think I could ever walk away. I am going to be that old lady that's saving cats that you probably don't want to live next door to.
Joey, you are the one. I will love you to the setting sun and to the moon.
My vets are absolutely amazing. They know that it's welfare work, and I don't think I've been ever turned back from one of my vets. I'm really, really lucky. They understand the job, they see it, they get frustrated, they shake their heads. There's been many times that 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, various times that I've called them, and like I said, I've never been told no. There's always emergency centres also that will open their doors welcoming to us. And so they should, they're vets, and these animals deserve the best treatment possible. One of the saddest things in this job is when I have to make the decision for euthanasia, because that really is ending an animal's life, and it's a big decision. It's not something that I take lightly. It's something that it's obviously done in conjunction with vets. So seeing animals in terrible conditions, and many of these animals, their conditions could have been prevented, and humans have caused the suffering. So that's where it's really painful, seeing an animal in pain, or knowing, that they're just not going to get better. One hopes that, I've done the right thing. Everything that I do, I'm guided by with vets, but it's never easy.
He's had chronic dry eye most likely, which has caused like scarring over the eye, and he can't see through his eyes at all because of that.
Poor darling.
There's just nothing there, is there?
Oh, that's a terrible state.
Yeah, it's really thick, isn't it? The other thing is,
that.
I mean, these teeth, this has got a lot of calculus on it, sort of hard stone. Do we know much about his background?
No, he just came from a pound. So obviously he's gotten to this age living in a house somewhere, but you know, why isn't he there now?
Yeah.
You know, he could have gotten out and been astray and collected.
Yeah.
And you know, the owner may have thought that the dog's gone away to die. A lot of people think that. That eye's protruding.
Yeah, his heart's not so good either, truth. He's got a lot of fluid on his lungs as well. That's probably why. I dare say he'd probably cough. If I elicited a cough, he'd probably try and, or start coughing because of that, and partly probably because he's breathing in the bugs from his mouth all the time. He's got this really dirty mouth. He's always breathing in his bacteria, and a lot of these dogs actually have chronic lung infections as a result. So his testicles are both quite different in size. So his right testicle's really large, and his left one's relatively small. And they've been there for quite a long time, so...
Testicular cancer?
Potentially, yeah, but I think he's got a lot of issues. Bad teeth, he can't see anything. He's obviously got
Bad
severe
heart.
anxiety, yeah, and a heart
Fluid.
disease as well.
All this could have been prevented though. And then he's gotten to this age, this old, and here he is in here.
Yeah.
So I think the likelihood of less stress for him and, yeah, rehomable is euthanasia.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the most humane way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because his anxiety, he's stressed, he's got several issues.
You know, decisions are made that not all of us agree with, you know, and I struggle. I struggle with a lot of the things that we do. I just hope to God that I do make the right decisions, but I'm not claiming that I'm perfect, and you can't be. You're dealing with too much of the unknown.
This dog's going to be difficult to put a catheter in for euthanasia, so it's much more humane and much safer for us to sedate him and then go through with euthanasia and get it right the first time.
I just hope that it is the right thing. It's so big out there. There are so many animals, and to know that you've done the best that you could possibly do is all I can take with me.
White snow, white snow, white snow. It's freezing on my windows.
All of that could have been avoided if that dog was looked after right from the beginning. It was such an old dog and ended up in a pound. How did it end up in a pound? It had rotten teeth, a bad heart, fluid on the lungs, you know, a mouth infection. It had a possible testicular cancer, dermatitis in the scrotum. It was just in a mess, and it had it actually had a home somewhere, and wherever that home was, they didn't provide the appropriate medical treatment that that dog required. So now that dog died in a stranger's arms, died here today.
White snow, white snow.
The greatest lesson that I have learned, that I take with me all the time, it's Lily's story. Lily was an ex-breeding dog, and she was bred, and the person that owned her left her in a vacated home. he didn't mind selling her puppies for $500 each, but when it was time to move, he left Lily. I received a telephone call from a council, and they told me that they had picked up this blind dog that had been bred, and nobody would really want her because she's blind, and I was their last resort to saving Lily. So I said yes, of course, and I was really nervous because you connect with eyes, and I was wondering how Lily would know that I was there to help her. So I went and met Lily, and I laid on the floor with her and gave her a cuddle and just wanted her to feel my heart and that she was safe. So I took her to an eye specialist, and it turned out that Lily had a genetic disease in her eyes, and she had 48% on one side and 21% pressure on the other side, so she had a headache every day. Lily was in a bit of pain. So the best option was for us to remove those eyes. So being a shelter, we also have to desex. So we thought we would remove the eyes and desex at the same time, and she was booked in for that surgery. I received a call during the day of her surgery stating that the vet was asking for permission to have Lily euthanized because she was under anaesthetic, and they found mammary glands, they found mammary cancer. And he thought that Lily was going to have to go through far too much, and it was just best to end her life. And I just couldn't say yes. I felt it, that Lily was going to be okay, and I said no. And he reluctantly went ahead and did the surgery. He removed her eyes, he desexed her, he did the mammary strip. And for 3 days, Lily's eyes would just drip blood, and she was on morphine, and those 3 days were, it's a memory that comes back like that, it was like hell, because I saw that she was in pain, and I didn't know whether I did the right decision. And on day 4, really not knowing and thinking, oh my God, maybe I should have let her go, maybe the vet was right, she got up and she wagged her tail, and she was in my house and started moving around, and the weeks she got better and better and better, and by 6 weeks she was so bossy. She was absolutely amazing. And that story, Lily's story, that was 4 years ago. So I think the lesson, or how I carry my job with me, if I feel it inside that it's right or it's wrong, I go with that feeling. And with Lily, I felt that ending her life was wrong, that it wasn't time, and it was right.
We were scared, tried not to watch, took the first steps from the top. Then bells, thin